Hi, happy weekend, happy Saturday. I hope you are staying warm during this really chilly week that we've been having. I've been telling my family, who all pretty much live in LA, to stay cool. As we know, it's really been a nightmare in LA this past week. Um, with the wildfires, it's been literally a disaster. I feel so bad for the families who lost their loved ones. I know they expect the numbers to rise once they get through, you know, um, as they continue on with going through the homes that have been destroyed. Uh, the fires started and pretty much really affected these really wealthy areas of LA. Um, Calabasas, Pacific Palisades. These are very like prominent actors, actresses. That's where they live. Uh, and also they also live, in Bel Air and Beverly Hills. But I know Sunset Boulevard is it's a very popular, very touristy area. That's in complete ruins right now. Um, Thousands and thousands of schools and buildings and homes are gone in seconds. Many celebrity homes have also been wiped away completely. These are huge mansions that are just gone. Um, my family were saying how even throughout the city they were spraying water from planes, like all throughout the city. Uh, I'm so grateful that my family is okay. Nobody was really affected. Um, they really don't live close to, that part of the area where it started. Like they don't live around there. They're mostly from the East LA section. Um, but it's insane because growing up, I remember when these wildfires, we would hear about them, um, and they would be on the news, but it was always in the northern part of California. It never happened in LA. LA didn't even have a strategic a plan that was set up. That's why it was just incomplete. Everybody was just in chaos. The firefighters, they didn't know where to start. They didn't know how to go about this. Sometimes you might see, here and there, maybe a building that was affected, but it's like a minor fire, but nothing ever like this. So it had me questioning for a few weeks, for this past week, if this was nature or was it man-made. I don't know. And so it's been really hard because I haven't slept. I barely slept last week because just trying to keep up with everything and trying to come into sense with it. Um, but I pray for all of those who lost their lives, the victims, the families, the business owners, and those who lost their homes. Um, some some of these residents this is all they've ever known, and I know so many had to evacuate. uh, Airbnb, they had, and they still have this emergency housing that, which they housed hundreds and thousands of residents. They say that the fire is contained, but what's interesting is even if it's contained, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to stop completely. It could stop the burning completely. But I just thank God that at least they have it. It's just much better than it was um, even 4 or 5 days ago. So, um, but LA is a very resilient city. Um, we have experienced the worst types of disasters, from earthquakes, riots, the never-ending social unrest, um, but always finds a way to adapt and rebuild again. So God bless my beautiful city, my home, and God bless all residents who live there, and especially those who have been affected by this. So, but today I just wanted to briefly discuss the importance of being okay with being different. And this topic popped into my mind this week, and I just felt like it was a really important topic to discuss, because there are a few people in this world who have the courage to completely be themselves throughout their lifetime. So what does it mean to be different? Being different, in my eyes, is when you never really find yourself in the majority area or place. It can be when your thoughts, your perspectives, your behavior, your character, your values are different, or not really not like anyone else. How do you know if you're different? Your fingertips are designed differently. God went to the extreme to say, I created you purposely to be different. He knew exactly what he was doing when he created you. No one in history has ever had the same fingerprints, including identical twins. Our natural makeup is just not designed to be like anybody else. And if you really think about it, being different is really the only thing that we have in common. An example that I can give: growing up, I was considered and really pretty much labeled as different, boring, quiet, the good girl. And so I always thought that there was something wrong with me because of it. But as I gotten older, I realized that differences is really what sets us us all apart from others because it's our qualities. Differences to me and diversity, really, they go hand in hand. I love diversity, I am diversity, and I come from it. And through my lifetime, what I've noticed is that diversity is what really not just shaped my life, but it's really defined it. Before the rise of technology and the internet, the world was just somewhat shut off from other parts of the world, where people felt little to no need to even observe diversity. But today, you can learn and appreciate differences in traditions, in music, in culture, in attire, without even physically being there. Sometimes when I look at reaction videos from people from all over the world, when they react, it's Americans, it's people literally from every continent of the world, and they react to videos like music, traditional Ethiopian, Eritrean music, for example. You'll find people saying things like, wow, I didn't know Africa was different. I didn't know Africa was diverse. I can't believe this is Africa, you know? I didn't even know. I remember reading someone had mentioned that they didn't know Africa had a different like culture. They thought it was all the same. They thought they spoke one language. And so it gives us a chance to really understand and appreciate our differences. And I think that technology has boosted that so positively and opened up people's minds and perspectives, because at one point it was shut down. There was no way to really access it without actually physically being there. When we dismiss our differences, we aren't really living authentically. If you're going to be successful at being completely you, then you have to take a chance at being you. When you're okay with being yourself and being different, you'll naturally and authentically follow these ways. The first one is to follow God. You'll naturally follow God. As long as you follow God, you're naturally different than everyone else in this world. In our society, you will find these little small groups and people who want to take away your values so that you can really confirm or conform to their ways and to their perspectives and get along with them, or just go with the flow, with the majority's flow. And what's interesting is that it's the same ones who are really never quiet about what they want or who they are. Have you ever questioned or wondered how God feels about how society just works so hard to try and get rid of him or destroy his name. Followers of God are really the only hope that we have of not losing our faith and our morality in this world. Accept yourself. When we don't accept ourselves, we assume that others also don't accept us. You can't really be authentic unless you accept yourself and your differences. When you don't accept your differences, you're always going to be searching for an identity or your purpose. This world is just full of people who are ready to target the insecure, the unsure, the easily manipulated. But when you accept yourself, you know exactly who you are, and you're alert and aware and you're able to establish that boundary. If you feel someone might be distracting it in some way, don't ever feel comfortable with being uncomfortable with yourself. Never compromise. When you're different, you never compromise. Ever. You just don't do it. Whether it's personally, professionally, socially, in any area of your life. When you don't compromise, you refuse to accept negative ways that go against your faith or your values. Be prepared. You have to be prepared to know what you're going to face and what you're going to be really dealing with when you're different. When you're different, your lifestyle, your faith, your values, your morals, they're going to be ridiculed. They're going to be criticized, mocked, and maybe even attacked. People will find all types of ways to have you operate from worldly ways and not your heart. Because unfortunately, the weak and the dysfunctional are so empowered in our society. But when you're prepared, when you're truly prepared, you can handle and face it, anything, negative circumstances, early on. Expect others not to understand. When you're different, others will look at you differently. If you're expecting others to understand you, it's just not going to happen. But as long as God understands you and you understand who God is, then you're okay. Being different really comes with a price. Anything that you do that is of value really comes with a price to pay. And a part of that price that we pay is being negatively viewed by others. when you're in your natural state and understand really who you are, you just get it. But if you don't know who you are, you just won't have the ability to truly even get to know who you are. Last but not least is you have to remember that you are unique. There's something very different about you. When you're unique, you are unusual. You're not ordinary because you're becoming everything that you're supposed to be. And being different, it's so beautiful. You have to be strong and stand strong in your difference. It only takes one person, just one person, to try and prevent you from being who you've been created to be. But never disqualify yourself. You have greatness in a world that hasn't seen yours yet, and that needs to see it. If you're going to be different, you're going to have to really be yourself, and you're going to have to expect some backlash. You may be mocked, you may be overlooked, but that's okay. You're supposed to stand out. That means, and that really is confirmation, that you're walking in your difference. Being different means you are irreplaceable. But you can only be just that when you're okay with being different. And I hope you have a beautiful, very warm week. It's going to be very, very chilly. They said, I know Donald Trump's inauguration is coming up on Monday. The city has just been, so many people have been here. There's been strikes going on all throughout DC, but it's supposed to be the coldest since 1985. So on Monday. So, but I hope you stay warm, and I hope you have a blessed week ahead.